Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of The Snake Pit. I'm your host, Corey Feldman, also referred to as the Feld Dog, the Feldinator, or the Feldster. Some of you may not remember me. Huh, who am I kidding? Of course you remember me. All of you do. Even your kids and grandkids that aren't even born yet, they know me. I was the king of the 80s, a former child star, and now a rock god. But today we're not talking about that. We're not talking about my amazing achievements in music, my amazing method acting, or the fact that I turned a bunch of shitty little indie pictures into Hollywood blockbusters. No, we're going to be talking about the sad truth that befell my best friend, and to a lesser extent me. Of course, we're talking about the documentary I made. Took me over 10 years to make it, promised to release it twice, went back on my word, tried to charge you guys $10 million to make it, whittled it down to 20 a ticket, put it out and took it back. We're talking about My Truth, the Rape of Corey Haim. I'm just fucking with y'all. It's Son of Bat here. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about My Truth, the Rape of Two Coreys, the 2020 documentary created by Corey Feldman, directed, of course, by Brian Herzlinger, produced by Corey Feldman and Arthur Jameson, starring Corey Feldman, Ricky Garcia, Jameson Newlander, Corey Haim in archival footage, and Christoph St. John, amongst others. Cinematography by Trey Hauser, edited by Elliot Gagnon. Music by MJ Miranaski, and production company Truth 4222 Productions. Release date March 9th, 2020. Why you didn't do the 22nd? I don't know. Running time 85 minutes. Country of origin United States, and of course language English. There is no box office statistic or number here. I assume he made a decent amount of money off this. He was trying to charge $10 million to get this made. And then he ended up charging the viewers themselves $20 in a pay-per-view event to get tickets for it. Now, what's crazy about this documentary is, like, Felddog has promised to expose the industry. He's done, bits and pieces here and there for years, but he said that he was finally going to, like, name names and all this stuff for a long time. I think he did it twice before this even came out, and each time he kind of just backpedaled and nothing came of it. Come around the time of Me Too, when everything's hyping up about, like, child sex abuse and the exploitation of women in Hollywood, this documentary comes out. Now, where I think Corey Feldman is a shyster is this should have been free to be released. This should have been released, for everyone to see. It should have been released on YouTube. He shouldn't have charged people $20 for this, first of all. And second of all, the idea that this documentary would have taken $10 million to make is laughable. Shit, man, Isaac Cappy straight up fucking was putting names out there for free on his video. And he even called Corey Feldman out for this. But, I mean, he ended up dead. So, I guess doing the right thing gets you fucking killed in Hollyweird. But, with all the shit going on about, like, the Diddler and Drake, I figured now would be a good time to talk about this documentary. As you may have seen before, I covered Leaving Neverland, which... Funny parallel to this is the reason why I started all this is I actually got into the rabbit hole of The Bonfire with Dan Soder and Big J Okerson. They did so many episodes on Felddog and all the crazy shit he's done. Really puts into perspective what kind of a narcissistic asshole he is. And then they also did the Leaving Neverland one. And, I said in the Leaving Neverland video I was probably going to cover this documentary. And, now is the time to do it. A lot of these people intersect with each other and cross over, and it just shows you how tight this circle of weirdness and Hollyweird really is. So, yeah, fuck it. Why not cover it? I'm not really gonna go too deep into it. I'm gonna graze over the plot. If you guys want to see it, that'll be up to you. But I will go into my personal opinions on this whole situation and what I think of it. And maybe if you guys agree with me, that's cool. If not, it's whatever. It's a free country. Like, comment, tell me I'm a fucking asshole, an idiot, or whatever. Or, tell me I'm right or whatever. It's all good. Anyway, the documentary begins with the 911 phone call that Judy Haim made to the LAPD regarding her son Corey and the possible, quote, drug overdose he had. The documentary pretty much just goes over the friendship of Haim and Feldman and talks about the sexual abuse they both endured by producers, actors, and executives. Now, the fucked up thing about this is the majority of the movie feels like it's about Corey Haim, right? And this is supposed to be the rape of two Coreys or the tale of two Coreys or whatever. We don't get a lot of insight on Feldman except for the fact that like his parents were screwing him with the money, and he brings up a few pedophiles that were introduced into his life, like John Grissom, Marty Weiss, and Alfie Hoffman. But we never really get any big names like the ones he promised. Now, the big name that does get dropped in this documentary is, of course, regarding Corey Haim. And the assertion that Feldman makes is that Haim was raped on the set of Lucas in 1986 by Charlie Sheen. Now, is this true? Well, Haim isn't alive to back this up. Judy Haim and Carrie or Kari, whatever his sister's name is, they've both vehemently denied it. But the weird thing is like, you get a lot of people in this documentary saying, oh yeah, we knew about it. People talked about it, which the first time I saw it back in 2020, I was like, damn, like this may have happened. This sounds very probable. Also, the fact that Charlie Sheen has a very, very sketchy reputation. I won't go too deep into it, but basically when his ex-wife filed for divorce, there's a police statement that says he kept guns and drugs around the house, but the most incriminating, disgusting thing that Charlie Sheen had was child pornography on his computer, male and female, and that's where the divorce majorly stemmed from. So, putting that together with this, I full on believed it the first time I heard it. I'm like, yeah, man, like the guy's a sick piece of shit. Of course he fucking did it. But where I kind of, I'm not sure at this point, where I'm kind of like, in the middle, is because all the people that are interviewed in this documentary are either friends or people that have a really tight relationship with Corey Feldman. So again, you're basically getting Feldman's perspective on the whole situation. Now, Judy Haim isn't really in this documentary. None of Corey Haim's family, no one from his side of the argument is here. So you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. He also, Corey Feldman also claimed that when this was being made, that there was a Wolfpack group after him trying to discredit him and like stop the documentary from being released. And he suspected that Judy, Corey Haim's mom, was fronting the group. Whole can of worms. There's a lot of really crazy shit going on. There's a lot of clear indications of irresponsible parents in the Hollywood industry. Now, I do feel for Judy Haim having lost her son, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past her to being one of those 80s, fucking pageant moms, kind of like Feldman's parents too. I feel like a lot of these fame-seeking parents don't actually give a shit about their kids. They know full on the dangers and ramifications to what come in the business, and they full on take it anyway because the check. So basically, Corey Feldman says, well, in the movie he made, A Tale of Two Coreys, it's pretty much the picture's painted that Haim was like a cock-hungry drug addict and that Corey Feldman was just a badass super actor who happened to maybe gotten his dick sucked while he was asleep. And he just writes it off as him being just a badass and being super strong and being able to tell this story, and that Corey Haim's just this pathetic drug addict who couldn't get his shit together. Like, there's literally a line in this documentary where Corey Feldman's like, hey man, like, why don't you tell your story, man? Write a book or something. Now's the time to do it. And then he's like, oh yeah, fucking Corey Haim was like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I don't have the balls you have. And it's like, I totally believe this is something out of the mind of fucking Corey Feldman. He is someone who I feel in my mind is a pedophile / predator protector. It's very sus when you look into his band and see that he has made all the female members of his band sign NDAs, and they can't talk about the kinds of shit that went on in the band, even though there are a few of the ex-Angels that have said he's a very abusive person. And it's crazy. It's like the Drake Bell situation where the cycle kind of just repeats onto itself. And I commented this in a video too. I just find it insanely interesting that Corey Feldman's persona, his behavior, is almost modeled after a mix of Michael Jackson and Charlie Sheen. So, in my mind, maybe this documentary and all the slander he's put on Corey Haim, in contrast with his wild personas and outfits, I feel like is him projecting or deflecting the abuse he suffered and pushing it on to somebody else. Now, I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist. I don't know. I just get the vibe that this scumbag is making himself look better than somebody else because he has the opportunity to. Not to mention, beforehand, he was treating Haim like shit on the show, the two Coreys. He, there's an idea that has been come up a lot by people that he was jealous of Corey Haim. If you look at movies like License to Drive and The Lost Boys, Corey Feldman isn't the main character. Corey Haim is. So, I feel like, jealousy was something to do with like there's just a lot of moving gears to this. But eventually, one of the abusers who isn't Charlie Sheen that gets named is this guy named Dominic Brascia or whatever. He is the retard who gets chopped down in the beginning of Friday the 13th Part 5. The guy's like, "You want my chocolate bar?" And then he catches a fucking axe from Vic. Yeah, that's the guy that abused fucking Corey Haim. One of the confirmed people that Haim himself has called out when he was still alive. Now, what's fucked up is when you do a little digging, you find out that there's 3 movies that Corey Feldman and Corey Haim made post-abuse that this Dominic Brascia guy shows up in. One of them is Last Resort from National Lampoons. The other one is a cop movie, and I can't remember what the third one is, but there's 3 movies they did. And I've heard stories that Corey Feldman... And I'm going to get to this right now. So basically, the reason why Dominic Brascia was able to abuse Corey Haim is because he was friends with Corey Feldman. And apparently, as the story goes, this guy, as Feldman says it was, "I was just chilling, and this guy Brascia kept asking me questions. Haim, let me introduce Haim. He's so hot. I want to meet him." And basically, Corey Feldman set this guy up with Haim. He's the reason why Haim got fucking raped. And the fact that he brought this piece of shit on 3 movies with Haim just shows the kind of manipulative behavior he had. Fucking Corey Haim always pressed him, like, "Why are you friends with this guy? I don't like this guy. Why is he always around?" And Feldman just kept bringing him around. In the Tale of Two Coreys movie, the producer, Marty Weiss, who may have or may not have molested Corey Feldman, basically gets fed to Corey Haim via Feldman. There's this scene where Corey Haim is like ripping fucking bongs and shit. And he's like, "Come on, I just want to get laid. I just want to get laid." And this guy comes in and Feldman's just there like, "Marty's gay. Why don't you hook up with him?" And then they go into the room and Feldman fucking leaves. So basically, what I've come to the conclusion is a lot of the abusers that have come into Corey Haim's life are all friends and acquaintances of Corey Feldman, which is a very fucked up and interesting thing considering this asshole is trying to release a documentary to do the right thing, whereas every piece of material he's released proves otherwise. He did a book called Choreography where, and even in the Tale of Two Coreys movie, like he basically depicted Haimster like, well, Haim would walk into the executive office with his head and hands around his ankles, almost backing his ass into all the old dicks. Me, I was just, being cool, doing perks, smoking weed. I fell asleep, might have gotten my dick sucked, but I don't know. I'm not gay. And, he just wrote Corey Haim as this fucking gay, degenerate drug addict. And I don't think that's who he was, man. I think he was a guy who was a cool dude. Everyone who's ever talked about him has said he was a really nice, caring dude. And he was going through some shit. And, Felddog dogged him for like fucking 20 years. And he's still doing it to this day. I don't feel any real answers have come out of this documentary. A lot of he said, she said, and speculative thinking. Do I believe that, like I said earlier, do I believe Charlie Sheen's involved? Maybe. I mean, the guy has a very checkered past. It wouldn't, be weird. It is fucking weird. It's weirdo fucking behavior. It wouldn't be out of character for him to do something that fucked up. So, yeah, it's possible he did it, but I'm not 100%. Brascia, we have multiple people to confirm that is 100% true. Marty Weiss, another one that's true. The Alfie Hoffman thing, apparently Alfie had this thing called the Soda Shop where he would have a bunch of child actors go for like these fucking after hours parties and, all age parties type shit, really goof fucking shit. Fucking basically Feldman said his mom told him he has to go to these parties. Oh, Alfie likes you. You got to go to these parties. He talks about how he and Haim were just like always going to the Playboy Mansion. They were doing coke with Sam Kinison, just like all this shit. But like, again, this is all through his lens. We don't know how true any of this is. This could all just be very, this could just be all very hyped up. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought. I've been drinking a bit, got off work at 12, so I'm kind of slurred here. But, I just feel like we can't 100% say that this is the definitive truth, especially seeing how narcissistic Feldman is with the way he does business, the way he treats people. I mean, shit, there's a lot of interviews, like I said, with his ex-bandmates talking about how he fucking regulated their food. I think he even, may have raped or sexually abused a couple of them. I don't fucking know. I just know he's not a good dude. And it's always like these people who are very I'm going to catch all the predators. I'm going to catch them all. And then they end up getting outed for doing some crazy shit. So it's I don't know, man. I feel in my heart of hearts, I feel like Corey Feldman is just as responsible in the crimes that were committed. He fed his friend, his quote unquote friend, to these people, knowing what they were like. And it's just fucking unforgivable. And I don't think that he has any right to call himself Corey Haim's friend after the years and years of abuse and shit that he put him through. I just don't. I don't think him charging the working man $20 to see this was right. I think him and the fucking thing is when he played the documentary, it was a one night pay-per-view thing, and of course it crashed, and he was like, people are hacking me, people are hacking me, the wolf pack's here, they're trying to snuff me out. And then he goes on, and even in the documentary they talk about when they're finishing up rapping, he has this file of evidence, and they're driving from a restaurant and some guys come up and stab him with a needle. And, he's making it seem like the Hollywood elites are they need to get Feldman. They need to silence him. He's the key. I'm the key to all of this. I'm the key to Hollywood. They don't want me alive. And it's dude's a washed up fucking ex-addict fucking child star. I don't feel like Hollywood's trembling for what he's going to say. You know what I mean? So again, yeah, man, this documentary, sure, on paper, it's a good idea. It should have happened. More of these people need to come out. The industry needs to get exposed. These pieces of shit need to go to jail. They need to get their fucking shit chopped off, or they need to get shot in the back of that. Whatever they need, these perverts need to go. And I appreciate the sentiment there, but I think someone else should have done this documentary. And I think it shouldn't have been charged. If we're talking good documentaries that get the point across and then actually get shit done, An Open Secret is pretty good because that nailed Bryan Singer and his fucking group of fucked up friends. That was a good documentary. It wasn't made by a narcissistic asshole and it got its facts straight. But, if you fucking watch this My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, and then you decide to do some digging, you're going to find a lot of inconsistencies. You're going to find a lot of, half-truths, a lot of bullshit, a lot of exaggerations. So is it reliable? No, it's a story told by an unreliable narrator. It's like American Psycho, man. You got to take it with a grain of salt. So saying that, I'd say maybe about 50% of this is true and the rest of it is embellishment. It's just a fucking mess. I can't even get my thoughts straight. I'm actually just so angry that Feldman was able to fucking swindle people out of their money. I mean, I guess you're kind of stupid if you did pay for it, because he did this twice with 2 Kickstarters and he pulled out. So I feel like people should have expected that. Personally, I never had to pay for it. I just watch all my shit like this on BitChute, so I don't have to pay the industry. But yeah, dick move for putting it out for one day and then charging the price that he did. I feel like this is a show for him. He's just exploiting this to get money and more recognition. His career's kind of going in the shit. He may be realizing his music isn't good and it's just a meme and he's trying to get more relevance. I don't fucking know, but it was just in poor taste. It was shitty. And, yeah, it should have been done by somebody else. And, maybe someone should have sourced better and got their shit straight, because this was just a mess. I don't know who to believe when it comes to this story, because like I said, Haim's mom can technically be at fault, because I think any parent that puts her kid into stardom like that is a piece of shit. Feldman's fucking definitely not a good friend. It's just a mess. It's a big fucking mess. I don't know. I can't even collect my words to say it properly. If I were to give this a rating, like as any other film on here, I'm going to have to give this a 4, because it the points I'm giving it are for, 1, it got out there. 2, there's some more information on the table for us to go through. 3, it's pushing the narrative and the truth out there that Hollywood is a fucked up place, and 4, you can find it for free, so you don't have to pay for it or track it down as long as the video is still up on BitChute. But other than that, I felt it was like a self-indulgent piece of shit made by a washed up narcissistic asshole. This guy, he's continued the cycle of abuse and he's been able to profit off it. And I feel like if more people seriously questioned this guy and pushed him and stopped giving him money for his concerts and his little fucking movies and shit, things might actually come out truthfully. But the more we give this guy money and the more we give him a platform to be a lunatic, the more he's going to take it, be a lunatic, and exaggerate the truth as much as he can to make himself look like the cool guy he thinks he is. Yeah, man, I don't know what else I can say about this. It was really frustrating to watch. I felt bad for Corey Haim, to be honest. Like I said, everything I've ever watched or heard, like other actors or people talk about him, he was just like a nice dude. He'd be like someone you want to kick it with and like smoke a blunt with, man, like a funny, chill dude. And anything Feldman has released about it has been the contrary. He just writes him as this horrible fucking person. And yeah, man, it sucks. Like, to think that like someone who calls you like their brother, their best friend, would drag you like that for 20 years is just disgusting. And I hope the truth does come out regarding what happened to him. Like, I hope somebody who's not an unreliable narrator can come back with receipts, like how Cat Williams has been, or like how Kendrick has been. I hope that people start looking deeper at Corey Feldman and realizing that he is part of the problem and not the solution. He's only doing what he's doing to benefit himself, and it's a piece of shit move, and it just shouldn't be tolerated. Yeah, so that's a 4 out of 10. Do I recommend it? I mean, if you want to watch it, check it out. But I personally think you guys would get more enjoyment out of the Bonfires fucking deep dive into this. They go way deeper into it. I mean, I think the Rape of Two Coreys, they go in for about an hour and 14 minutes. And then for fucking Corey Feldman's book, and then the Tale of Two Coreys. I mean, the Tale of Two Coreys alone, that's like a 4-hour fucking podcast. And then I think the choreography one, they went through the book like the whole way. That could be like 10 parts, but it's definitely worth checking out. It's pretty funny. They got better comedy than I do. They probably got their shit better together than I do, but I just felt like I had to make this video as a way to like, first of all, cover the documentary because you can't really find it anywhere, but also to like, give my 2 cents on what I think about it. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm glad I never have to see this documentary again. And yeah, hopefully Hollyweird gets shut down. It's been your boy Son of Bat. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.